On April 29, 2022, corrections officer Vicky White and prisoner Casey White fled a detention center in Lauderdale County, Alabama. They were eventually captured on May 9th in Evansville, Indiana. During those 11 days, the pair traveled hundreds of miles through several states with thousands of dollars in cash to pay for clothing, wigs, motel rooms, and different vehicles in an attempt to throw investigators off. April 29, 2022, 9:30 a.m. Jail policy states that inmates are always accompanied by 2 deputies. But Vicky told another deputy that she planned on taking Casey for a mental health evaluation and then would go see a doctor because she wasn't feeling well. Surveillance footage showed Vicky led Casey into a patrol car, drove towards a nearby shopping center, and left the vehicle there. They then got into a Ford Edge that had been parked the night before and drove away. At about 3:30 p.m., officials realized Vicky and Casey were missing. The Lauderdale County Sheriff's Office put out an alert on their social media page just before 6 p.m. May 1st, authorities offered up to $10,000 for information leading to the capture of Casey White. Vicky White was considered missing and endangered. May 2nd, a warrant was issued for Vicky, charging her with facilitating the escape of an inmate. May 3rd, authorities released images of the Ford Edge that the fugitives were last seen driving. Casey was described as 6 feet 9 and about 330 pounds, and Vicky White was described as 5 feet 5 and about 145 pounds. Vicky and Casey drove the Ford to a car wash in Evansville, Indiana, and left it on the premises. They then switched into a Cadillac and drove off. May 4th, local police were called to the car wash concerning the abandoned Ford. The vehicle was towed, and the sheriff's office announced that Vicky was no longer employed. May 5th, authorities released photos of Casey White's tattoos, some of which had questionable affiliations. May 6th, a warrant is issued for Vicky, accusing her of second-degree forgery and identity theft. The charges stemmed from her alleged use of an alias to purchase the Ford Edge. May 8th, investigators were notified about the Ford Edge abandoned at the car wash and its possible connection to the fugitives. May 9th, authorities released images dated May 3rd from the car wash surveillance camera of a man believed to be Casey in the Ford Edge. The footage showed the suspects leaving the Ford and getting into a Cadillac. An Evansville police officer spotted the Cadillac at a motel and alerted other investigators. They began surveillance and observed Vicky and Casey exiting the motel and getting into the vehicle. Police began a pursuit, and the fugitives fled north on U.S. Highway 41. In the pursuit, Vicky and Casey drove onto a grassy field and parking lot. An officer rammed his vehicle into the car, flipping it onto its side in a ditch. Casey was immediately apprehended, while Vicky appeared to be injured from a self-inflicted wound. She would pass away at the hospital that night. Investigators found several weapons, wigs, and about $29,000 in cash in the vehicle. Casey told investigators that he and Vicky had planned to have a face-off with police. The couple had been staying at the motel in an attempt to lay low and had reportedly paid for a 14-day stay. May 10th, 2022, Casey was taken back to the Lauderdale County Courthouse for an arraignment on an added charge of escape in the first degree. He was then transferred to the William E. Donaldson Correctional Facility in Bessemer, Alabama, the same prison he had been staying at the start of 2022. Casey White is currently serving a life sentence.